Many years ago, when I started collecting coins, I was a teenager at the time, I noticed a little bit of an anomaly when I would buy coins in bulk. I was collecting Buffalo nickels, if I remember correctly, and I had a good sense of what they were worth at the time. I think they were about 50 to 75 cents a piece at the time in average circulated condition. I used to love to get rolls of them and see if I can find anything rare. Another thing I love to do is that some of the Buffalo nickels had the dates worn off from circulation, and then I would buy lots and lots of rolls of them, and then I would buy a certain chemical to etch the dates back, and sometimes you get a rare coin that way. And I used to love doing that. I think the ones without the dates were worth about 10 to 15 cents each. Now here's the thing. When I started collecting coins, dealers would often sell them in rolls, but then they realized, some of the smart dealers realized that if they sold the coins by the pound, a lot of people don't know how many coins there are in a pound, and they seem to be able to charge a whole lot more. Now, it would only take a Google search to find out how many coins are in a pound, but it's a really unround number. I can't remember the exact number. But very early on, I realized that if coins were sold by the pound, there was usually a good markup because people didn't know what they were buying. If they were buying 40 coins, like in a row, or 100 coins, or 1,000 coins, it was very easy to do the math. Now, fast forward a few years later, and now I was investing in silver bars, and I noticed the same kind of anomaly. So some of the common denominations of silver bars, you have 1, 10, 100, 1,000 ounces. Usually, of course, the 1,000-ounce silver bar is probably the lowest premium you can get. Although sometimes you can get historical silver coins, the 90% silver coins, or even 40% silver coins at below spot price. Sometimes, not often. But for the most part, the 1,000-ounce silver bar is going to give you the lowest premium. Now, the 10 to 100 are not bad, but the 1 kilogram bar, now it's in between the 10 and the 100 in terms of size, right? But these usually go for quite a bit of more of a premium, and I think the reason for that is because the math is confusing, right? So today, as I'm recording this, let's take a look at what the silver price is. See, it's very easy for the average Joe to look up the price of silver on the spot market, right? $26.77. And by extension, it's not hard to multiply that number by 10, 100, or 1,000, right? But you take a kilogram bar, first of all, not too many people know how many ounces are in a kilogram, right? Even I sometimes have to remind myself, let's see, how many troy, you got to be specific, right? There's troy ounces, and then there's regular everyday ounces, like ounces of butter, right? How many troy ounces are in a kilogram? 32.1507466, and it's not easy to multiply that by whatever the price of silver is. And I can never understand why the disconnect, right? It's so easy to punch that in. See, look how many seconds it took me to find that number, and let's see how many seconds it takes me to multiply 32.15 by whatever the price of silver is today, 26.76. I'll let you time how long it's taking me to do this. 76 times 32.15, 860.33, and then whatever the price is, I can calculate whatever the premium is, right? Now, my observations with the Buffalo nickels and then later with the silver really taught me just how lazy some Americans are, right? That the fact that they don't want to spend 2 minutes on their smartphone, or in the old days a calculator, the fact that they don't want to spend a few minutes doing that, and they're willing to pay sometimes an extra $5 or $10 for that silver bar, right? The market value of spending 2 minutes punching your calculator apparently is so much because people are so lazy in the United States, right? That's the way I like to view it. See, I've also traveled to other countries, and I've bought some precious metals in other countries, especially Taiwan. I don't see such a disparity, not nearly as much at least. The Taiwanese, they love to be creative, right? So for example, when I travel to Taiwan, I have a favorite brand of green tea every time I travel to Taiwan. Now, here in the United States, when I go to the store to get my favorite foods, let's say I'm trying to see what I have around the apartment so that I, for the sake of, okay. So, for example, let's say coconut oil, right? Organic virgin coconut oil. Now, the price can vary quite a bit from one store to another, even if they're across the street, which tells me that people put such a value on not getting exercise walking from one store to the next that they might be willing to pay 50% more for this coconut oil. In Taiwan, you never see that. My favorite brand of green tea, usually if one store marks it down, all the stores in the neighborhood mark it down at the same time, right? We have sometimes they get, if I remember correctly, we have a grocery chain called Welcome. In Chinese, it's pronounced Dinghao. And there's a few other giant stores, like Walmart-sized stores. I don't remember their names. You would never see a major disparity between those two stores, right? And it presents kind of an opportunity here in the United States, right? At the same time that you're getting exercise, somebody's paying you to exercise, right? In Taiwan, so many people love to walk that it doesn't pay. It's almost like a market, right? Because so many people love to do it anyway. There doesn't need to be an incentive to do it anymore, right? Just my own observation. Something to pay attention to when you're buying precious metals or basically recognize that people put a lot of value in convenience, and if you're willing to sacrifice a little bit of convenience here in the United States, it seems to bring huge returns, right? But not so much in a lot of other countries, it seems like.